breath work. So go ahead and sit up straight and tall. And, Nadi Shoshana is just such a beautiful technique in general, but especially I think in the winter when the heat goes on in your house and, with these cold day we had yesterday and today, sometimes it's nice to make sure that you are A, breathing through your nose, and B, that you're kind of making sure you're clear through your nasal passages. So it's good time of year to pull out the neti pot and all that kind of stuff. So most of you, I think all of you have done Nadi Shoshana with me before, but it's just alternate nostril breathing. And there's a few really beautiful things about it. Your nostrils have dominance, different hours of the day, you have different dominance and there's a correlation to your nervous system when you are having a sympathetic kind of activation in your nervous system. One nostril will be activated, and then when you have a parasympathetic response, the other will be. So it's not uncommon for one side of your nose to be able to breathe better than the other. So Nadi Shoshana is to bring us into harmony, to learn how to breathe through both sides of our nose. If you tend to be a habituated nose breather on one side, or if you have a deviated septum or any sorts of problems, it can help you to find that, train your body to breathe well through both sides of your nose. So go grab a tissue if you need it, if you feel congested at all. And we're just going to start. So sit up straight and tall and have good posture. You want to be on something that makes you feel stable, where your pelvis is in a happy place. You're not slumped back or pushed forward. And then before we begin, just put your hands down on your knees and let's just take a moment to become present in this moment. Breathe deeply. Allow your shoulders to drop down just a little bit away from the ears. Feel that sense of grounding that comes into your body. Breathe well. And before we start manipulating the breath, just notice if you can tell if you have one nostril that's more open than another. Can you let your breath slow down enough where you feel at ease, relaxed? The body's starting to settle into your practice. Is your spine feeling spacious? Is your skull relaxed? Soften what you can. That's for a few breaths here. Just focus on a slow exhale. Try your best to breathe through your nose. And then we're going to start with the Nadi Shoshana. So right hand, your thumb onto your right nostril, and be high, like where your nostril begins, not low down toward the tip of your nose, and your ring finger on your left nostril. So before you start the breathing pattern and compressing, notice your spine. So feel that your collarbones are broad, that you're aligned. You can have your sternum lift and your chin drop a little bit. Feel that place where your pranayamic posture is here. And notice it's often where people kind of push their chest forward. So pay attention to how the space between your shoulder blades feels and see if you can broaden and open up that feeling. So we're not slouched, but we're also not pressing and pinching our shoulder blades forward. Once you have good posture, relax your neck and shoulders, relax your right shoulder down, and then some gentle pressure on the right nostril, not enough where you are deviating your septum off to the side, inhaling through the left. So everybody's pace is a little different. So you're going to switch and close off the right nostril, the left nostril, and breathe out through the right. So it goes out, then in, then switch sides. Out, in, switch. Out, in, switch. So you take your pace of breathing. Find what feels right for you. Come into a place where your body is relaxed, where you're not strained or stressed as you're doing this. Can you feel that it's not just the breath moving through your nose, but you're kind of opening up that channel inside your sinuses, even inside your skull? And if you are having a lot of tension on one side of your nose versus the other, if you're having difficulty breathing through one side or the other, then you can stop and just return to some normal breath, or you can lighten up your pressure on that nostril a little bit. So remember, all pranayama is just a matter of creating the space for breath. It's not about forcing and pushing. Can you feel that you're moving with the hemispheres of your brain, that alternating your breath is having an impact on the brain itself? The next time you end up breathing out through your left nostril, so don't rush through, don't change what you're doing. But when you get to a point where you're breathing out through the left, then that's where you stop. Okay. And when you get there, you can just take your hands away and notice what it feels like to enjoy the luxury of two sides of the breath. So if you're very aware of how you're breathing, how your breath feels, see if you can hold on to that as we practice today. Try to find this rhythm and awareness of breathing as we move. Breath is our friend for so many ways we need it to be. Let's place the hands together at the heart and bow in. What do you need today? What kind of support can your practice give you? Do you need energy? Do you need to relax and calm down? Do you need clarity? Do you need to just be present? Is there some part of your body that needs support? So remember, anything that I offer is not what you need to do. You can always veer off and find your way into your practice just as your body and mind need it today. Release the hands and let's come onto your back. Okay. So lie down. Stretching your body out. Extend your limbs. Find that sense of being able to relax on the floor. Relax all your limbs down onto the ground. Can you feel that your legs are even weight, your arms are even weight? And then we're going to do just a little bit of an exercise of navel radiation. I think most of you have done this with me before. We're just going to imagine, not just imagine, feel the line of connection you have from your center and your belly, wherever that feels to you. So it could be your navel, it could be above or below your navel, where it could be your heart, wherever you feel the center of your being to be. And we're going to just start first with the right leg. So extend into the right foot all the way from the belly all the way into the right foot, and feel the line, connect the dots. Try not to let any links in the chain be missing. And then hug that heel back into the core. And then second side, stretch from your navel outward to your left foot. And notice if there's any lost little areas, okay, that you can't feel or sense. And then hug back in, heel coming up into your center. And your right arm, stretch from your center outward into your hand, and your center can shift. So maybe, when you're working with your upper body, you feel your center in your heart or in your diaphragm. So just be with what you feel, whatever you can sense, and then drop it back in toward the center. And then change sides. Left arm, so we're stretching from the center of our body out to our left fingers, and then back in again. Now we're going to play with some different combinations. Right leg and left arm expand away from your center, and then hug these back in. So this can be movement, and it can also just be energetic movement, and nothing's physically moving. So you decide. And let's change. Left leg, right arm. Stretch away from the center and then hug back in toward the center. Two arms when you're ready to move again. Opening from your heart or your belly outward to both your arms, both your hands, and then back in toward each other. Just your right side, right leg, right arm, expanding away from your center outward to your edges, and then back in again. And to your left side, how are you breathing? Are you holding your breath to try to sense the energetics of this, or are you staying with rhythm of breath? Now two legs, both at the same time moving away from your center, and then back in. And the starfish that we always do, let's incorporate the crown and tail now. So feel just your crown and tail move away from each other, and then back in toward each other. And then expand, open up to all 6 of your limbs. Stretching out, you can be a little bit more active. And then exhale and draw that energy back in toward the center. One more time before we actually start moving. Okay, so all 6 limbs moving away. How does your breath help you with this? And then back in towards center. All right, let's get moving now. So stretch your limbs and wiggle your toes. Squeeze a little bit. Feel the energy of muscular strength hugging onto bone. And then when you're coming into center, let's pick up your knees into your chest and rock just a little bit. Finding your way from side to side. And circling your knees one direction. And then circling your knees the other direction. And then let's stretch away. Limbs expanding out, stretching all the way to your fingers and your toes. Exhale, drawing your knees into your chest. Chin up. Let's find the movement. Open your body out. Exhale. Draw your body in. One last time. Feel the expansion. Exhale. Draw in. All right, let's put our feet down onto the ground, arms coming out to the side. Feet are wide, and let's rock left and right. So we're going to do a little bit of left-right brain hemisphere work today, kind of matching that Nadi Shoshana, kind of working left and right sides and trying to find harmony through that. So even as you just twist here, see what it feels like as you move off to the right with your legs and you move off to the left with your legs. Maybe your head goes in opposition to that. And what does it feel like to cross past the midline? All right, so come back to neutral. Put your right thigh over your left thigh and put your left arm over your right arm. So eagle, we're doing eagle pose on the ground. Okay, so find your breath. Take a deep breath in. We're not going to lift anything up. First, just squeeze. So squeeze your thighs, squeeze your arms, just finding the midline. And then relax the squeeze. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, pick up your head and your knees and squeeze in. Inhale, open up your head, lay it back. Exhale, pelvis tilts, knees come up, touch elbows and knees. One last time. And then unwind your arms and legs. Find that big broadness again. And then we're going to change sides. So put your left leg over your right leg. Put your right arm over your left arm. Drop the shoulders. First, just keep your feet on the ground. Expand your arms. And then as you exhale, knees and elbows come in, chest up, chin up. And find the breath a few times. Inhale, touch down your head and your foot. Exhale, draw into the core. Feeling your center, squeeze. And then after 3, keep your arms and legs, foot on the ground, head on the ground, squeeze to the midline with your thighs and your arms. And then open that up and spread your limbs wide. And then exhale and roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and knees, finding all fours. Okay, so feel the cat-cow moving through your body. So arching and rounding the spine, taking your time. As you start to move the center of your body, how does it feel? How's your spine today? All right, and then let's find some, come back onto your feet for a moment. Just roll your wrists. Okay, so that we're going to be on our wrists for just a moment, so you can shake them out or move however you want. And then we're going to come down back onto all fours and find that cross hemisphere work here. So right leg coming straight back behind you, left arm out in front of you. Extend the spine, integrate into the core, reach into the limbs. Exhale, reach into the center. So try to remember that feeling that we had on the floor where you're working energetically, not just physically, to expand out on your in-breath from the center out to your limbs. And then on the exhale to draw that elbow and knee underneath you. Let's do one more. Expand your arm and leg out. Exhale, hug in. All right. Then once you're ready, place that other hand and knee down onto the ground and switch sides. So our left leg and our right arm are out. Find the breath, integrate into your core. Try to find the balance point of the front and back body. Then as you're ready, let's go ahead and start to move. So as you do this pose, be very mindful to feel that it's energy moving. It's not just physical strength. Of course, it's a lot of physical strength too. But as we move away from the center, into the length of our limbs and come back to hug into the center, feel it both in your energy and in your muscles. Find your breath. So we're breathing in on the way out and breathing out on the way in. All right, and then go ahead when you're ready and place the hands and knees down onto the ground. Find all fours and move things around. So swivel through your shoulders, move through your hips, anything that feels good for you. Okay. All right, and then curl the toes under and lengthen up to dog pose. All right, so stretch through your body. Enjoy this. What's not to love about, opening the backs of your legs up a little bit? Feel free to pedal. You can drop one heel, sway a hip. Find your breath. Root your hands into the earth and feel that rebound up, heart lifting toward pelvis. Root into the index finger mound. Stay grounded. Deep breaths here. Can you find symmetry, balance? And then walk your feet forward, come into Uttanasana, fold a bit. Inhale for a halfway lift. And then exhale and release and melt. Push off your feet, rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. Open your chest, lean back a little bit, feel the heart open. And then release, bring your hands toward your heart and find that center line. All right, we're going to stand on our right foot. Pick up your left knee. Find the breath. Both arms coming up in the air. So feel how awkward it is sometimes to balance on one leg, right? It's not as comfortable in the mind as 2 feet on the ground. And let's find a twist here. So just see what it feels like to open yourself up, to twist to the left. We're standing on our right foot. The thigh bone is moving back. Feel that sense of moving from your core, from your breath. And then come back, foot onto the ground, arms up, change sides, left foot on the ground, right knee is lifting, extend your heart, open up your breath, and when you're ready, twisting to the right. Drop your shoulders, be active through the soles of your feet, be engaged, even in the air, be engaged with that foot in the air. Find your breath. Right, and then unwind. Reach your arm all the way up, both arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale and fold forward. Relax your head, melt. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and relax back down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Feel the breath. A long, steady exhale as you go. Let's step our left foot back. Our right foot's coming forward. Find a plank. Finding your breath. I didn't mean plank, I meant to lunge. Sorry about that. So we're having our right foot forward, left foot back. So find a lunge, not a plank. Reach the heart forward, the collarbones are broadening. Feel the inner spiral of that back leg. See if you can lift the inner thigh up toward the sky, widen your sit bones. Breathing. Push off your feet, rise up. Hands can be on the hips or anywhere you want them to be so that you have that sense of stability. Breathing well, open up across your heart. Find your breath. We're going to twist here again. So arms can be open, hands can be on your hips. Extend that back leg. You can always balance this pose with your back knee on the floor if you need a little more support. There's always ways to back off. There's always ways to pick up. Full breaths here. Come back to center, reaching the arms to the sky. Exhale and place your hands down. Back foot comes forward. Fold in half. Inhale, extend. So as you extend, can you feel the heart, the crown, the tail all lengthening? So we're finding the energetics of expanding outward from the center to our crown and the center to our tail. Exhale and melt back down again. Left foot forward, right foot back. Find a lunge, not a plank, but a lunge. Extend through your heart, root into your feet. Find the inner spiral of your thighs. Feel the the sit bones widen apart from each other, but find at the same time a hugging in toward the midline. So we're always balancing these actions of expansion and contraction, of going out and coming in. Yoga's filled with these dichotomies of balancing oppositional forces. All right, let's go ahead and find our way up when you're ready. Breathing well, bring your hands wherever you want them to be so they can be up in the air, they can be down on your hips. Full breaths. Can you feel breathing through both sides of your nose evenly, even though your body's doing different things, your legs are doing different things? You have to work just a little harder for the breath than when we were sitting. But still find both nostrils filling and emptying. Open up to the side. Your hands can be on your hips or your arms can be out. Find the midline with your inner thighs. Feel the growth of your spine. All right, come back to center. Breathing. Place your hands. Now you get to come back to a plank. So hands down onto the ground. Open up your chest. Feel that sense of stability. Feel the heart reach and broaden. Deep breath in. Deep breath away. Place your knees down onto the ground. Come all the way to the earth. Find your breath. Open up cobra pose. Exhale. And melt back down. All right, pause here for a moment. Let your forehead rest on the earth. Let your body rest. Does it feel good to let your body rest? All right, we're going to do some oppositional work here. So you decide if your shoulders are not incredibly happy shoulders, then you can have your arms down at your sides to do this. Or alternately, you can have your arms over your head to do this. So decide which pathway you're going to take. Just like when we were on all fours, we're going to inhale. Inhale and lift the left leg and the right arm. Find that extension. Breathe here. Hold steady. So we're not moving to the other side just yet. Feel your core. Can you feel that cross line in the body? And then exhale and melt back down. Change sides. Okay. Left arm, right leg, extending through your spine. Keep the back of the neck long. Breathe deeply. All right, and then exhale and relax. Come up onto all fours. Move your spine around. Sometimes being on your belly can be tricky for people's backs. So feel free to move around in any way that serves you. And then eventually finding your way up to dog pose. As you find the extension here, can you reach from your center, just like we did on the floor? Can you reach into both arms? Can you reach into both legs? Can you hug back to the center from those places? What might it feel like here to reach into the right, to yield into the right hand and the left foot, and then return and then switch.
Find those cross lines in the body, just even in the energetics of yielding. How's your breath? All right, and then walk your feet forward, come into Uttanasana, touch your toes together. We're gonna find our way into chair pose. So decide if you want to block between your thighs or not. Okay, so decide where you want your arms to be. So having your arms overhead can be very vigorous, but it also can be a little challenging for your shoulders. So there's so many different options depending on what your body, what your breath is needing today. Okay, so fill your breath up no matter where you put your arms. Fill the breath. Drop weight into the heels, knees come back into the pelvis. Relax the shoulders. Melt any tension through your skull. Weight yourself down. All right, and then let's stand all the way up. Arms coming up in the air. Exhale, take that block out of there and grab 2 blocks, and we're gonna come into half splits. So stand on your right foot. Left leg is lifting out behind you. Engage through that foot in the air. Extend the spine. Pulse the foot in the air a couple times. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, squat into a one-legged chair now instead of our two-legged chair. Chin toward the chest, knees bend. Inhale, press into straight legs. Open the heart. Exhale, and draw in. Inhale, push out straight. Exhale, tuck in. One more time, lengthening outward. Place your foot down onto the ground. Half splits, so half lift. Just find the length of your spine. 2 feet are on the ground, soften your knees. And then we're gonna bring that into half splits by lifting our right leg up in the air. We're standing on our left foot. Before you move anything, be really mindful to be stable on that leg so we're not hyperextending our knee. We're lifting up through the outer hip. The spine is extended. Engage through your legs. Pulse your leg in the air a couple times if it feels nice. Find your breath. Exhale, tuck in behind your knee behind your knee. Inhale, pressing big and out. Spine grows. Exhale. Couple more times. Expand your body out from the center to your limbs. Exhale and find the center. Reach out one more time. Place your foot down next to the other foot. Halfway lift, 2 hands on blocks. Feel the symmetry. Exhale and melt. Relax your head. Come on up to stand. Okay, we're gonna come into eagle pose. So stand on your right foot. We're going to bring the left leg and cross it over. The right arm is going to go over the left arm. So we have oppositional arms and legs. So we're standing on the right, the left leg's up, right arm goes on top of left arm. So if you feel like you need support, you can always stick your butt against the wall or a piece of furniture to do this pose if your balance is a little off, or if you just need a little support. Okay, so this is a great way to do the pose. Whichever way you're doing, squeeze to the midline. Try not to hold your breath. See if you can get to the place where you're able to exhale into the engagement of the squeeze, and you're inhaling into space and length through your spine. Relax your eyes. Feel what it feels like to feel the work of the inner pose. This is a deep lymphatic pose. It moves a lot of lymph in your body. So unwind the pose now. Stretch your body out to a starfish. Open up the garden hoses. Let all those kinked off places flow. Breathing well. Okay. And then bring our legs back. Second side. Standing on your left leg, right leg crosses over. Try not to let the hips turn. See if you can keep the hips in line. It's okay if this foot's hanging in the air. You don't have to hook it onto the back of the calf. Because our right leg is on top, we're going to put the left arm on top. Drop the shoulders, lift the elbows, open up the collarbones, and then squat. Squeeze in. Feel that compression into the center. Feel the lymph get compressed like in your groins and in your armpits and in your elbows. Breathe well here. All right, and then when you're ready, go ahead and open the body out again. Expand through your limbs. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. And then come back to the center of your mat and come back to dog pose. Extend through the spine, feeling the breath. Melt. So after a compressive pose like that, can you expand? Can you feel the yielding into hands and feet and the reaching through the center line of the body? Relax your head. Inhale, come forward into a plank. All right, now you can always put your knees down for this if you need to. We're going to try to lift our left leg and our right arm off the floor. So in order to balance in a pose like that, core, hug into the midline as best as you can, and then change. Let's put our right hand on the ground, left arm lifts, right leg lifts. Stabilize through your core. It's totally awkward, so don't worry if you're flying and flopping all over the place. It's an awkward pose. Still breathe. Then place your hand and foot back down onto the ground and lower yourself down onto your belly. Decide whether you want your arms above your head or down at your side like we did before, but now all your limbs are coming up. So expand, open into a super person back bend. Breathe. And then exhale and melt back down. Pick up your feet and windshield wiper your knees left and right. Breathing deeply. Come back up onto all fours. Find any movement pattern you need in your body. Breathing well. And then stretch back towards child's pose. Finding the breath, we're going to come up, bring your right foot forward, finding a lunge again. And rise up, crescent lunge. We're going to bring our right arm over top of our left arm. Drop your shoulders, hug in, lift up, look up, lean back a little bit, try not to compress in the lumbar spine, feel your feet grounding, and then come forward, lean forward. Push off your foot and come into Virabhadrasana through 3 with eagle arms. You can always unwind your arms if you need to. If you're having trouble finding that balance, that's so fine. Find your breath. Now from here, we're going to stand all the way up and come back to eagle pose. So lift that left knee, cross the left leg over the right, and squat. Open the chest. We're going to come back out the same way we just came in. So give a good squeeze and stand up. Stretch that leg back. Virabhadrasana 3. But this time we're going to unwind the arms. Put them anywhere you want to. Expand. Place your foot down onto the ground, Vira 1 or crescent lunge, and reach and open your body up. Hands coming down to the ground. Back foot comes forward. Fold in half. Relax your head. Halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Left foot forward. Right foot's coming back. Find your breath. Come up to crescent lunge. Left arm. I hope I didn't screw that up before. You want, when you're doing this sequence where you're moving into eagle, you want to have this, whatever leg's in front, that's what arm you want on top to begin. Okay, so left leg's on top, left arm's going to be on top. Open your chest. Lean back a little bit, but with the chest broad, the diaphragm growing in your breath. And then exhale, lean forward. Feel your legs. Push off your feet. Rise up into Virabhadrasana 3. Lots of work. Spread out the toes. Feel the outer hips work. Inner spiral. Sit bones wide. Extend through your spine. Squeeze your arms. Find your breath. And then we're going to come all the way up to stand. Bring that right leg forward and cross it over your left. Eagle pose again. Squeeze to the midline with your legs and your arms. Fill your lungs. Feel the breath take big space in your lungs. Unwind. Lift that knee up. Back into Virabhadrasana 3. Open up your arms. Fly. Put them wherever you want them to be. Find your breath. Step back into Virabhadrasana 1 or crescent lunge and undo your arms. Breathe. Find any spaciousness that your body is finding. Hands back down onto the ground, dog pose. Full breaths in, full breaths out. Come forward into a plank. Hold yourself steady. So feel the balance. Even though there's a lot of work in this pose, can you feel the symmetry between the left and right? Can you feel the rib cage expand and release? And then relax and melt to the floor. Come back to child's pose. Settle your hips back toward the heels for a moment. Then relax. Okay, now we're gonna do some, still working with the eagle vibe, but we're gonna do this a little differently. So for some people this is difficult, so I'll just demonstrate it and then you kind of figure out if it's something you can do or not. So we're gonna bring our left knee up toward our chest, cross it over, and then settle back into the hip stretch. And then back up, knee to the chest, and stretch that leg straight. Maybe I'll show you from the side. Okay, so your leg starts back, you bring it up, cross it over, settle back, knee to your chest, and stretch back. And then you switch sides. Okay, so you decide. You probably have already begun. So you're going to stretch the calf, knee to the chest, cross that thigh over your thigh, settle back into your hips. Come forward, move with your breath. So whatever, just keep switching from one side to the other, taking that time to stretch your calf, to feel the full leg stretch open before you switch to the other side. Enjoy the hip stretch that comes with this pose. All right, and once you've completed both sides evenly, we're going to come to sit. Okay, so you can sit on the edge of a blanket if you feel on the long edge of the blanket, or sorry, the short edge like this. Okay, if you feel comfortable to do so. So we're going to do cow face pose. So your right leg is underneath, your left leg is on top. We're gonna try to stack our knees. So that doesn't always happen. Just go to wherever you're able to stack. You might find that your right foot is tucked back near your left hip, and you can pull that out a little bit, trying to find some balance between your left and right feet being on the same plane, and just go where you go. So this is a very big hip stretch. So if you need to have that heel, that right heel hugged closer to your hip, that's fine. Okay, and then if you need more support underneath you, more height, that's fine too. Lift up through your spine. Find the breath. See if you can settle. I find this to be very unique in the way it stretches, some fascia deep in your hips. So if you can't do it or your body's unhappy, you can always stack this foot on the floor and have the hip a lot higher. So this is a plan B if it's too much to have your foot open like that. Now for the arm variation, just the same as like an eagle, we're having oppositional forces. So we're going to, because our left leg is on top, we're going to bring our right arm up top and place it behind our back. Now, if you have a strap handy and you want to hold the strap in between your hands, that's fine. If you don't have a strap handy and you can't reach your hands behind your back, which is normal, you can just have your hands behind your back somewhere. So just find whatever's working for you. Elbows move away from each other. The chest is broad. Find the breath. All right, now see if you can lean forward just a little bit. We're not collapsing, we're still lifting through the spine. All right, and then relax. Unwind your legs. We're going to stretch the legs straight out for a moment. You can be on the edge of that blanket or adjust it if that's not comfortable to be right on the edge. And just come forward. I'm going to come off the blanket entirely. You can adjust the blanket underneath you. Find the breath. Lift open your heart and come forward, flexing your feet. And your pose might be with your hands back here behind you. And if you need to, you can always bend your knees in this posture. You can stick a block or a blanket underneath each knee so that the pose is supportive to where your joints are comfortable. Try not to let the attachments at your sit bones or your inner knee be overstretched in this pose. Breathing. Okay, come back to center. All right, and then we're going to move over to the other side. So if you need to switch and come back up onto your blanket, go ahead and do that. And now we're going to have, I can't remember which side. Do the opposite side. I think the right leg is now on top of the left leg. Okay, so stack. You might find one side to be a little gentler than the other. So I now have, everybody's got differences in their hips. So you might find that one side's easier. You might find that one's like excruciating and you have to, once again, bend that foot and put it on the ground. So just experiment with what's working for you. I find this to be a really good fascial stretch for my IT band. I don't know if you feel that. Feel the lift of your heart. Okay, now because our right leg is on top, we're going to put our left arm on top. So reach the arm up. The other hand comes behind you. Find your breath. Everybody's got differences on their shoulders. So if this is not a happy pose for the bottom shoulder, the left shoulder, if internal rotation is very difficult for you, back away from this. There's no healthy reason to do it for some people's shoulders. This is an unhealthy thing to do for the shoulder. So make sure you're in a place where this is a good thing for your body. Elbows move away from each other. Lift the heart. Ground through your sit bones. Find the breath. If your body is able to, you can lean forward a little bit. And if that's like, oh my gosh, I'm about to fall off the cliff, then you don't need to do that. How's the breath? All right, so unwind. Get your legs out of there. And once again, you can adjust height or the position of what you're sitting on. Our legs are going to come out to the sides. And this time we're going to do a side stretch here. So be where you are comfortable with your body. Find your breath, inhale, and reach up through one side. You can put your hand on your leg somewhere to open yourself up, support yourself. Okay, and then come back to center and go the other side. All right, so same. You may find that your hands behind your back supporting you is better. You may find that you're able to come forward. So you go where you go. Try not to overstretch the ligaments. I mean, not the ligaments, well, ligaments too, but the attachments of your hamstrings at the inner knee as well as at the sit bones. All right, and then go ahead and relax and bring your legs back together. Bring your knees to your chest for a moment and just find your way into a snugged up little ball. Tuck your chin toward your chest. Stretch the back of your body. All right, and then come onto your back. Okay, so now we're going to find balance and symmetry after a lot of asymmetry. So let's do this passively. Put a block at either the low or middle height underneath your sacrum. If you need higher than that, stack 2 blocks on top. If you'd rather do an active bridge pose first, that can be really nice. So feel free to get the block out of there and just actually, let's all do that. Activate your body. Hug toward the midline. Feel your glutes kick in. Feel the stability. All 4 points of your feet rooting into the earth. Open the chest. All right, and then melt and come back down. So let's do it passively now. So any height underneath you, you're going to put the block underneath your pelvis. And let this be just a posture of ease where you're training your body back towards symmetry, especially with your pelvis. So a lot of the things we did when you're crossing one leg over the other is very asymmetrical for your pelvis and for your the muscles that wrap all around your hips and pelvis. So let's just find that balance point here. Breathe deeply, melt what you can into the earth. Now, if it's comfortable to do so, you can straighten both your legs just to get some hip flexor stretching after all that flexing. But if that's not so comfortable, you can try one leg at a time, making sure you're not letting your leg fall out to the side. So toes are pointing up. And if that's still not comfortable, just keep your feet on the floor. Finding the breath. All right, and then undo that. Knees toward your chest and have a little traction on your spine and then lift the legs straight up for a moment. All right, and then you can bring your knees in if that feels comfortable to do so. All right, come on down and get rid of the block and you decide what's next. Okay, so we have a few minutes for a restorative pose if you want a restorative pose. So perhaps Supta Baddha Konasana or leg up the wall pose. Or maybe you want to do happy baby and stretch your hips a little bit more. So you have about 5 minutes to kind of find what your body is asking for today. If you're going to do a restorative pose, choose something that's symmetrical. So either Supta Baddha Konasana, letting your knees fall out from the midline, or your legs up the wall would be my 2 recommendations that I would give you. And if you are doing Supta Baddha Konasana, have support, however you like support, but at the very least, support underneath your outer thighs and your knees. So once you're in the position that you want to be in, what can you do to melt? To give yourself over, feeling the support. Restorative poses, if you're a little under the weather or have low energy, they're very good for restoring yourself into your breath. Long, steady inhales. Long, steady exhales. Can you feel the 2 sides of your nose breathing in balance? Any posture that is right for your body right now. The most important thing you can do is breathe. Can you feel the symmetry in your body? Just like in the beginning of class, is there this capacity to feel your energy move from the center of your body outward? To draw that energy back in toward the center. And it doesn't matter what position you're in, you have this capacity.
Eventually, you can start to find Shavasana. Now, if you're in a pose that is super happy in your body and you're relaxed and comfortable, you can stay. If you've been doing a pose that needs some um, counter posing, then do a counter pose. If you need anything else in your body, go ahead and take the time to feel whatever it is that you need. And eventually, we're coming into Shavasana. So this is beautiful opportunity for deep restoration. Remember, our breath is our gift. It is the miracle. So as you find your way into a restful state, whatever is needing replenishment, bring your breath there. Melt what you can. Soften anything that's possible. begin to deepen our breathing. Allow yourself to, before you move, feel the energetics of moving from your center to your limbs and back. Fill yourself up, color all the lines, inside all the lines. So let yourself really feel from the center to all your edges and back. And breathe your way into movement. Eventually finding your way onto your side. Just take your time. And as you come to sit, there's no rush to go here. You can stay right where you are. But if you're able to sit, have a moment to feel the palms against each other. That centered place, find it in your third eye. Breathe through both sides of your nose. And let's offer our practice, share your energy. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.